Hello, Miss Griffin's class. For this week's Science Read Aloud, we are reading Miles and Miles of Reptiles, all about reptiles. This is a Cat in the Hat book written by Trish Rabb. So this is an important book because we're talking about the desert right now, and most of the animals that live in the desert are reptiles because they like the heat of the sun. So let's learn about them. Reptiles can live in other places as well, but most of them are going to be in the desert. I'm the Cat in the Hat in my crocodile car. We're off to find reptiles wherever they are. We'll find lizards and turtles, then travel for miles to see alligators, snakes, and real crocodiles. There are thousands of reptiles. I'll show some to you. Your mother will not mind at all if I do. Reptiles breathe air, most lay eggs on land. Some slither, some swim, some run on hot sand. Some reptiles have teeth, some reptiles have tails. All reptiles have skin that are covered in scales. So to be a reptile, you have to have scaly skin. First, let's meet some lizards. Count them, you'll find more lizards than other reptiles combined. Lizards have eyelids that open and close. Most lizards you see have each foot and 5 toes. When lizards are hungry, some things that they eat are plants, insects, snails, and other types of meat. There are all kinds of lizards. Would you ever think that there's a lizard known as a stink? This glass lizard, it looks like a snake, but call it a snake and you'd make a mistake. The world's biggest lizard here in our wagon, it can grow 10 feet, is a Komodo dragon. Reptiles are cold-blooded, but I have been told that does not mean that reptiles have blood that is cold. It means that their temperature changes a lot. They can get cold when it's cold and hot when it's hot. How do lizards get warm? Why, thank you for asking. They lie in the sun, and that is called basking. So we can be warm even when it's cold outside. But lizards have to be whatever temperature they're around. So if it's too cold, they'll be too cold. If it's too hot, they'll be too hot. So they need to find the right temperature for their body. Meet my friend the chameleon. He's hiding right here. He changes color when danger is near. When he's scared, he turns dark and stays out of sight, but his colors turn bright when he's ready to fight. A chameleon's tail has a powerful grip to hold onto things so that it won't slip. One eye can look one way while one looks the other. One eye looks at me and one looks at my brother. On the Galapagos Islands, we'll see something new. Iguanas, they're lizards, and here's what they do. They swim in the waves, and when they are done, they crawl on the rocks and get warm in the sun. They have glands that strain salt from the salt water. Then they sneeze out the salt out their nose. They have glands that strain salt from salt water, and then they sneeze the salt out from their noses again. Oh, no, I don't like that image. These lizards are geckos. Aren't they pretty? They live in the desert, rainforest, and city. They have pads on their feet that are perfect for gripping. They climb up the wall, even glass without slipping. Why are they named the gecko? Thing one and I know. Some chirp, squeak, and some sound like gecko. Come meet some snakes when they move on the ground. Their scales on their skin help them slither around. Snake's jaw is loosely attached to each side. This means it can open its mouth very wide. A snake smells with his tongue. He is showing us how. See it flick in and out. He's smelling right now. How do snakes avoid danger so they can survive? Here are some things that help snakes stay alive. Snakes may have stripes or spots or rings on their skin. Snakes can have stripes, spots, or rings on their skin. They can hide in plain sight. Their skin helps them blend in. Some, like the vine snake, can fool you and me. It looks like a vine hanging down from a tree. If you hear a rattlesnake's tail start to rattle, it means I might bite you. You better skedaddle. A cobra is a snake that's not very polite, and that is because of its poisonous bite. When it's angry, a cobra spreads out in its big hood. If you see it, you know things are not looking good. Fangs hang from its jaw and punch holes in the skin. When the poison is cold, venom begins to flow in. So if you see one of these guys, first of all, where are you? Second of all, don't go near it. Now meet the turtles. Each one has a shell. This hard shell protects it and does so quite well. Turtles heat up in a nice sunny spot, then slide into the water when they've gotten too hot. Turtles are toothless, so they cannot chew. They swallow their food whole, and that's all they can do. Here is a tortoise I happen to know. This reptile eats grass and it moves very slow. It looks like a turtle, but I understand turtle lives in water and tortoise on land. About the tortoise, I've discovered one thing. Each year of its life, the shell grows a new ring. Turtles have 4 legs, but sea turtles like these have flippers to swim through the water with ease. They lay eggs on land with each mom somehow knows which beak she must hatch on, and so that's where she goes. The babies are hatched with the shells on their back when the babies are hatched, the shells on their back are so soft they are helpless if something attacks. We measure these babies, they're so very small, their shells are just 3 inches long, and that's all. Look how cute the baby is. On the Florida coast, in a swamp or lagoon, you may see a crocodile swimming by soon. Crocodiles have sharp teeth. They can walk on 4 legs. Their feet have sharp claws, and their young hatch from eggs. There are crocs that can eat till they're filled up, and then it could be months, even years, before they eat again. Alligators and crocodiles look alike, as you can see. That's because they belong to the same family. We look at them closely, and here's what we saw. Gator's teeth hang over its lower jaw. They both live near water, and these reptiles glide, swinging their powerful tails side to side. If you look at their heads like we did side by side, a croc's head is thin and a gator's is wide. They mate in the water, then we understand the female comes out to lay eggs up on the land. She digs a deep nest and lays her eggs in it, laying 60 or so, about 1 every minute. When the babies are hatched, this is how small they are. Each one weighs about as much as thinks one's candy bar. 60 little crocodile eggs, that's a lot. Reptiles are everywhere, just look, you might see one down the ground or high up in a tree. They come in all shapes and colors and sizes, and you will discover they are full of surprises. That was our book, Miles and Miles of Reptiles. Some live in water, some live in the desert, some live in the pond. You never know where you're going to find a reptile. I hope you enjoyed our science read aloud, and I hope the snakes weren't too scary, or the crocodiles. I really enjoyed that book. Please go answer a question on Google Classroom about our Miles and Miles of Reptiles. Bye, Miss Griffin's class.